I slept almost 10 hours last night.
Yeah.
Not even sure why, but we're definitely decelerating into the end of the year, and it's nice.
Mm-hmm. Right, we were talking projects, and I don't have all that much going on.
I have one or two for you.
Yeah, you sure do. You sure do.
That book we talked about last year,
Nope.
that album we talked about.
Don't get me wrong, I have lots of stuff to do.
I know.
Yeah. But boy, it has been a race for the last
For you, yeah.
yeah.
Because we have a showcase coming up.
Yeah, so that's one thing that went on this week. We had showcase rehearsal, which was looking really rough for me. I was really worried about a lot of the tunes had signature parts and stuff. If you're just playing chords or, just kind of chords, it's one thing. But if you've got lots of signature single note stuff that you have to play exactly like that, because that's the song, that stuff's hard to notate for guitar players, and it's hard for me to read really quickly, because if it's literally like a lead guitar line and I have to do it, but I also have to be reading, and it's just hard to do. So I was
feeling bad. I was feeling really bad.
I was kind of stressed out. I would say I was extremely stressed out.
Yeah.
How
are you feeling about it now?
Pretty stressed out, but I have another week to work on it, and luckily almost all of the hard ones, the people either were not scheduled to show up, or they just didn't show up, or
Well, it's going to be a fun rehearsal next week then.
It's going to be a monster next week, because we have to do everything. It's still, we were still there for 5 hours.
Yeah, those rehearsals are long.
And some of the tunes are just very show tuney, in terms of they have hits, and every verse is a little different and has a little different accent. And then this is a little different and that's a little different. And next week's going to be, but at least I have a week to just play through stuff over and over again. I think ideally I'm going to just memorize as much as I can and then not try to be reading.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's a lot of work for one show.
It is a lot of work for one show. Doable, and I noticed that, as much as I was freaking out, it gets easier and easier. As you do more of them, you just develop skills of being able to soak in material and kind of put little mental markers, and here's where I need to do this, here's where I need to do that. And just my kind of ability to remember stuff has gotten better. We were setting up, and we weren't expecting to do Tyler's thing, and I didn't have my chart. And Tyler, we've talked about Tyler Hall, teacher at Performance High, excellent hard rock singer, excellent hard rock teacher. He teaches screaming and all that stuff. And he always does these songs that are metal songs, so they're very hard. This one wasn't really metal. It's kind of a Midwest emo thing, but I was able to do it without the chart, is my point. And, so it's oh, okay, wow. I probably couldn't have played through that thing 5 or 10 times and then done it without a chart even a year or two ago.
Nice.
It's just
always growing.
Yeah,
always growing.
You just get better when you do stuff. So that was the showcase, and I was a little behind because I was finishing up a Christmas album, and it turned out to be a lot more of a job than I thought.
Yeah.
But now I know, there's a type of file called a DDP, and I just have not had to make one in 15 or 20 years because either, certain people still do it, but a lot of places don't need them anymore.
That's like a file that you give to a disc maker, a CD presser, manufacturer.
Yeah, that just basically says, here's how the, here's the sort of the time code of where all the songs are, so that there are 2 seconds between this song and 2 seconds between that song. And what I used to do all the time was I programmed that into the songs way back in the olden days, I would just, like, if I wanted 2 seconds between two songs, I would put that on the end of one song or the beginning of the next song on the album. And then I would just tell any replicator to just, like, do, like, a zero, don't pause in between those songs, just bam, 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 bam.
Yeah. Because it's built in.
Because it's built in,
Yeah.
And I used to do a lot of songs that, like, literally, like, smashed together. But anyway, so that was, I lost kind of a day. 2 days probably.
Working on the DDP thing?
One on the DDP and then another one just kind of getting the mastering together.
Oh my gosh, man.
And then, on a showcase week was like, yeah.
Stressful.
It was. And then I was done. And boy, didn't we have a nice afternoon, though, after showcase rehearsal. So showcase rehearsal was like 9 a.m. till 2 or 3 or however long it was. And then we went to lunch with Ryan and Stax. And that was really fun. And then we just came home and...
I took like a 2-hour nap, I think. What's up? I guess I'm catching up from the whole year.
Yeah, and I just sat on the couch and fell asleep and... Yeah.
It was nice. But then I had a gig that night.
Yeah,
it was, with a new group. A group that's new to me. So Rachel Talby, a figure in the scene. I think she knows a lot of people. She does the Diamond Empire stuff. And anyway, she has an 80s project, which, as I understand, has been a lot of different lineups. I know Nate has played with her before because I saw his name on one of her promos. So I got to play with Ryan McCurry, who I know from most of the Diamond gigs that I've done. He's a keyboard player who brings a theremin, too. It's so fun. It's great for solos.
Oh, that's crazy.
And it's great for a lot of specific sounds in some of these songs.
Wow, that's interesting.
But he was on the very first Diamond gig I ever did. He's been on almost every single one. I'm not really sure why we get paired.
The theremin is the thing where it's like a...
Oh, yeah.
It looks like a car antenna and then you put your hand closer to it.
You know, it like makes those noises like the space noises.
Yeah, that's
alien noises. Yeah. So he was on keys. Kirk Larson on drums. Spectacularly great. Yeah, he was really good. Really good at cueing.
You mentioned,
And I hear he's going to be playing with Great American Family Reunion, which is a top-notch band that Jeff Peterson drums in.
Oh.
But Jeff is going to sometimes play guitar. And so Kirk was like, I got to really be on my game to play behind Jeff Peterson, who is a monster drummer.
If you're going to fill in for Peterson.
You better be good.
Yeah.
And then Justin Neely on guitar. So another Justin guitar player.
Too many. There's too many.
He's real nice. And I learned that there is another Justin Long guitarist in Denver.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. It somehow is a common name. Or maybe it's not a common name, but apparently all the Justin Longs have gone into entertainment. So
right. The actor Justin Long.
Yeah, there are producers, music producers in LA named Justin Long, Leighton Long.
Oh my gosh.
Justin Leighton. There's like all these different guys.
Your middle name is Leighton.
And then my middle name is Leighton. So the only thing I have is the combo of Justin Leighton Long. But there's a Justin Leighton and there is a Leighton Long and there's a Justin Long.
Oh my gosh.
You can't Google me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you should change your name.
Yeah, all right. I just used the 3 and get away with it. But you had fun at the gig.
I did. I had a lot of fun. I pulled out the jacket.
Oh my gosh.
Should I go run and get it and you can edit this out? Should I get the jacket? So
sure.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. So this jacket is one that I got for Christmas when I was in like 8th grade or something. And so it was in the 80s, probably early 80s, and I was so excited about it. I saw it in the store, and I was like, Mom, that's the jacket I want for Christmas. And I have recorded a video on YouTube wearing this jacket because I recorded Rio by Duran Duran wearing this jacket to celebrate the 80s. Look at that.
It's pretty 1980s.
Look at that jacket. So I wore this for part of the show. I didn't want to wear a jacket the whole time, but Rachel was dressed to the nines in some 80s stuff. It was fun. I really liked I really like some of the music, and I really don't like some of the music from the era.
Right.
Like I love rock and roll. Blah, I could do without that. And anything Journey, I can do without that. Material Girl, I mean, I loved it when I was 12.
Yeah. It was funny when you were practicing because it's such a song for kids. Like,
It
it's
is.
clearly for kids.
Bum 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 bum. It's just like it's so primary color.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great way of saying it. Yeah.
But I really liked playing the Hall and Oates, and we played Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Oh my gosh.
And we had a couple good jams.
Oh,
where
really?
yeah, we opened up the songs a little bit and kind of went off track, and it was
Really?
really fun.
Oh yeah, that does make it fun when you
Yeah.
can do that.
Oh, Talking Heads. We had a ripping time on Talking Heads. It was
Burning down the house.
no. This Must Be the Place. Naive Melody.
Oh.
Which is really flat all the way through
Yeah.
on the track, and we
Right.
kind of broke it down and built it back up and rocked that thing out.
I didn't hear you practicing that one. But
Because I knew it already.
'Cause, yeah.
Because it's the same thing the whole way through.
it is the same. It's a loop, basically.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, they play it all the way through, but
Yeah.
it could have been a loop.
Yeah.
And yeah. So well, that was great.
It was it was really fun. And it feels like a little while since I've had a bass gig. It's been a couple months,
Yeah.
so it was good to pick it back up again.
It always helps having a reason to work on certain things.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things you could be working on that it's like great to have something to kind of focus you to like,
Absolutely. And it's nice to not have gigs and then work on skills that aren't directly applicable as well. But I haven't been
Right.
doing that. I really took a break after that big push into September,
to do the
where I had
Tunisia
like
stuff.
yeah. Well, and I had the 4 gigs in 4 days and with 4 different bands.
Right.
Well, I guess 3 of them were on bass. One of them was just a showcase. But like that was the culmination of the stress and the prep and like stuffing my brain full of stuff. And it was just nice to not really play for 2 whole months. Ooh. Anyway, what else to talk about? Okay, so I just couple little things, little connections and stories. I don't know what else you have to talk about, but
Yeah,
I've got a couple things.
Yeah.
So I met a guy yesterday up at the Broomfield studio named Tom Lilienthal, and he's a bassist. Been playing his bass for, he told me his age, so he's probably been playing bass for 50 or 60 years at least,
Wow.
his whole life. And I connected him with Tunisia because his home base is like Earth, Wind, and Fire, Motown, funk, 50s, 60s, 70s, not 50s. Well, yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Tunisia is, can use another bassist besides me because I'm not part of the band. I'm just subbing.
Yeah.
And they talked, and it sounded like it went well, so
Oh, good.
that might happen.
That's super cool.
Yeah, anyway, I met him because he's going to rent some space in Broomfield here and there.
And he's newish to the area.
Yeah, he and his wife they lived in and around Berkeley for a long time. They've lived
okay.
in Mexico for a while. I think they just moved back here from Mexico.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They spent years in Mexico.
Wow.
But his career was in the music, in public schools, teaching music. So he's got a lot of educational background.
Very.
He teaches. Yeah, he's really,
Yeah,
really
really.
nice gentleman.
Yeah, nice connection.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and you had brunch with your friend Izzy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah, we went
So you had
to Tupelo Honey.
Right.
Yeah.
A southern food place.
Yes.
I mean, a little fancy.
Fancy Southern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's great to see her. Her pharmaceutical startup is going great.
yeah, that was so great to hear an update.
Yeah,
and-
she has a treatment for a particular kind of brain tumor, brain cancer. And it is being fast-tracked by the FDA.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
It's crazy that I know her. And I know her because she and I happened to go to an Indie 102.3 meetup last February a year ago February,
yeah.
because we had a song on the radio.
Right.
And so I went to a 102.3 meetup, and she did too, just because she likes music.
Right. Yeah, she's
This
a big music fan.
neuroscientist,
Yeah.
this brainiac, has figured out the computational basis of consciousness. I am serious. And I don't think she's crazy.
Yeah.
It's heavy duty math. And she at a conference, she was telling me she just met this guy who specializes in AI neural nets and that which is touching consciousness. And he saw her. She's like, there were 30,000 people at this conference, and only 5 of them stopped like to talk to me because she just had this huge display of math. And the guy's like, oh my gosh, is that whatever? And she's like, yeah, he's like, you have computationalized consciousness? And she's like, yes. And he's like, no way. So now they're partnering. They're like, they totally have some stuff they can work on together.
Yeah, I'm so surprised that you would be friends with a nerd. Huh.
She's the brainiest person I think I've ever met. I don't know. Between her and my brother, it's a close,
Yeah.
real close call.
Yeah, Barkley's heavy duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my wedding guests at my first wedding told me that when they were making small talk with my brother at the time, that he was like, hey, what are you into? I'm into orthogonal matrices. Like, I like studying orthogonal matrices. And one of his coffee table books at the time was this enormous 600-page tome on cryptography. Or if that's even the word.
Wall-to-wall nerds.
Nerds. Anyway, speaking of nerds, I was working on setting up a new laptop today during Pop Choir because, let me tell you this story. I don't think I've told you the story about trying to change the digital sign on
I don't know if we've talked about it, yeah.
All right. So, through the Build a Music School coaching program, I learned from a marketing expert that signage is always one of the top 5 ways you get customers. It
Right.
always comes in really high. So I went and checked the sign that we have displaying. It's a digital ad that rotates outside our Broomfield location. It's on the corner of 120th and Main. It's a big old sign on the corner where cars are driving by, and it flips through a digital ad of all the businesses in the shopping center. And I went to look at my sign to just see what it says because it's been years since I provided it, and it turns out it was illegible. So I've been paying every month to display this ad that you can't read.
Yeah, on the digital
Yeah.
sign thing.
Because the resolution of this is supposed to be it's like 280 by 172. It's the tiniest pixel size. And I had somewhat thin letters
Right.
for the font, and I had a black background because I thought that looked cool, but that just makes it looks like a black screen. You
Right.
can't really see it.
So you wanted to change it.
I wanted to change it. So I contact the landlady. She says, you need to contact the sign company. They're really hard to get a hold of. Here's the number of the owner, and here's the number of the programmer. They never replied to anything. I was like, okay. So I called them both. The number for the programmer, voicemail was full. The number for the owner, or for the business itself, doesn't work. The number, and I looked them up on Google Business, and
And the number was right?
and on their website, the number she gave me was the number for the business. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't even ring through to a voicemail. So I emailed them and they didn't reply. So I finally went out to Aurora and visited their business in the middle of one weekday, and I sat down with the programmer. Well, I don't think they ever get a visit. So I was like,
I bet no, they probably
no
don't.
one ever goes there. It's not a customer facing location. And I said, I want to change the ad because my landlady says that I need to get the program and the antenna from you guys.
Right.
So you put a program on your laptop and you use an antenna to connect wirelessly to the sign. She said that I need to get them from you. And he's like, okay, here's the program. I need to call my boss before I give the antenna. And he talks to the boss, hands the phone to me. She's like, we can't give you those things. They belong to us. So I'm like, I don't care. All I want to do is change the sign. So I tell the landlady, she flips out. She starts blowing up their email and their phones. They don't reply to any of it. She finally sends a certified letter, threatening them. She sent me a receipt for the sign that she bought. She's like, here, this proves that I own it. It was a $35,000 sign, and it was itemized, 3 pages of everything she got, and part of it is the antenna and the program. So, finally, the retired previous owner
Yeah. Unbelievable.
texts me and says, hey, I'd like to get you the antenna, which I guess wasn't at the store anyway because it's at his house.
Which is now he lives in Florida or something, right?
No, I think he lives here.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I call him immediately, and he talks to me for about 45 minutes. Oh my gosh. All I want to do is get the antenna from this guy. I figure I can probably figure out the program. I already have the program. But he talks my ear off about like what kinds of shoes I should wear when I go to like sit in the Burger King, to, you know, which is near the sign, and that I should sit in the window, not in the corner, because the signal won't travel through brick. And he tells me like exactly which electrical outlet I should use, and that I should bring an extension cord. Oh, and I might want to go to Home Depot and get some orange cones so that I can put them by the door so people aren't coming in and out at the door near where I'm working. And I should make sure to buy some food from the Burger King, and I should dress nicely too so that they don't think I'm up to no good. I mean, and he talked about like how the changing angle of the earth relative to the sun during different seasons affects the visibility of your digital ad on the sign. And he talks about the use of primary colors and specific images that work and images that don't. And oh my God, it was so long. But finally we made a plan to meet up, and he was going to give me the antenna, and he told me exactly what he's going to be wearing, down to the fact that he's going to be wearing a bolo tie with a computer chip on it. So the other part of the story is that the program that you need to interface with the antenna only runs on a Windows machine. My landlady has a Chromebook. That's not a Windows machine. I have a MacBook.
Right. Also,
not a Windows machine.
Yeah.
So I tell her this, and she tells me to buy a laptop.
Right.
She'll pay me back. But so I bought a laptop specifically just to change my ad on the digital sign.
Which, the fact that it was this hard is just mind-blowing.
It's crazy, the number of hours I've spent on this.
Oh my God. Also, wall-to-wall nerds. Point that out again.
Wall-to-wall nerds. That might be the title of this one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to meet him on Thursday. We're going to get that thing changed over. But yeah, I set up the computer today, and it took a long time.
Yeah, I know you were working on it. We happened to be in the same room.
Yeah, it's just like, it just kept loading stuff for a long, long time.
Yeah.
It's cheap old, $350 Windows.
Yeah, and I'm sure the software, I think the guy that you were talking about wrote the software.
Yeah. So that was one thing I had to do, it's a Windows machine, and it's Windows 11. Windows 11 will not let you run programs that aren't from the Windows Store for security, unless you switch the computer out of S mode, which I assume stands for safe.
Right.
But
I would assume.
Yeah. And you cannot switch the computer back to safe mode after you've switched it out. Like, it's a one-time deal, which I understand. Like, if you open up the security, they're going to be like, okay, it's all on you now.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
So I get that. But so I had to figure out how to do that, which wasn't hard. But, you know, I wanted to make sure I did. I mean, it took me like 2 hours to set that computer up today.
I know.
Woo! Anyway, that was our week.
Yeah, and then after that, of course, you mentioned we had rehearsal for Pop Choir because this upcoming showcase is, of course, the normal showcase, but then the Pop Choir, which Joe Mondragon teaches and leads.
Directs.
They're also performing. And so we had a short rehearsal to rehearse the band because the band is going to back up the choir. And I thought they sounded amazing.
They sounded so good.
Yeah.
I was so impressed.
I was really, and one of the arrangements was yours. And
Three of them.
Oh, 3 of them?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. It was gratifying to hear my arrangements performed live.
Yeah.
So they sounded better than I sounded on the reference tracks, that's for sure.
They sounded really, really good. And, you know, it's, I don't know, 8 people, 10 people, something. Yeah, so it was, it's going to be an interesting thing. Speaking of good drummers, there was no way you would have seen it, but we were doing Rolling in the Deep by Adele, and there was some sort of, I guess, Nate and Ryan, who plays drums, obviously, they were saying something to each other, and then so Ryan doesn't even stop playing. He starts playing with one hand, you know, the drum beat, even in the double time part, and in his other hand, he's Googling what's the BPM of Rolling in the Deep.
Okay.
And I, like, literally watched him playing drums and typing with his other hand.
Oh.
It was like... It was hilarious. I only noticed because I heard the sound of the hi-hat change. because he was like kind of not paying attention.
Yeah.
It didn't get out of time. It just, I could
Yeah.
hear the angle of the
Yeah.
stick be a little different. And I was like, did he start playing as a left? You know, did he start playing open or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, not many people can type and play drums at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
That, Ryan has spent a lot of hours playing drums because that is, yeah, it's kind of funny. Oh, and speaking of funny, I keep forgetting to tell this story. Someone reached out to me on Facebook and was like, hey, were you the guitar player and singer Ian Honeygun?
Oh my gosh.
Which was a band that I was in for, well, my high school band became Honeygun for maybe a year, maybe less than a year, definitely not more than a year.
Yeah.
And we put out one EP.
Uh-huh.
And this guy somewhere or another like ran into me and he was like, I thought I you know, over Facebook, he was like, I thought I recognized you. I wondered if you were that guy.
Oh my gosh.
He was apparently a college radio DJ in Gainesville.
Jeez.
Which I had no idea that they played that, but apparently they were playing that in Gainesville because, and I guess maybe we played down there. I don't remember whether we did or didn't, but he was like, I thought that was you, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, I love that band, man. That was
my gosh.
I know. And that was, I mean, 96, 97 maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very, very long time ago. It was really bizarre for somebody to be like,
Yeah, that is bizarre.
out of nowhere, like, I thought I recognized you. And I was like, how?
Yeah. That's amazing to recognize someone 25 years. I don't recognize people I haven't seen in 10 years.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Speaking of which, I saw a server at Improper City, which is right next to our studio.
Oh, yeah, right.
And he recognized me as his vocal coach. And I was like, I don't even recognize your face, man. Like, I didn't tell him that, but I was like, oh, can you give me some context? Because was that in that location or this location? And tell me your name again. And I'm like, you are a stranger to me. I'm so sorry. And he was like, it's okay. He was totally cool. He's like, no big deal. Like, I'm sure you meet, you know, you've taught hundreds of people, if not thousands. So I was like, yeah, I have.
Right.
But it was apparently in 2014, I think. So it was good.
Oh,
10 years
well,
ago.
that's, quite a long time ago.
But he was so sweet. I had a little conversation with the bartender, a different guy, different person. And as I was leaving, he like made a point to come up to me and say, like, I just want to let you know, like, you really helped me. You really imparted some words of wisdom that have helped me. And
Wow.
I was like, wow. You know, so many times we don't know the ripple effects. We don't know how long.
No, that is absolutely true. Yeah.
Lasts.
Yeah, you
It's beautiful.
that Zen thing of you throw the
Yeah.
rock in the water and you don't know how far the waves go.
Yeah.
You know, it's so true. Yeah.
But do we have any recommendations?
Any recommendations this week?
I feel like we ate somewhere good. Did we? Maybe we didn't.
I don't know if we did or didn't. This is scintillating podcast.
Yeah, you might have to just
Might have to do
cut
a
that silence.
little trim.
No. So do you have any recommendations?
You know, I would have to say we have been enjoying the heck out of Silicon Valley.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
If you don't think you would like it, I promise you would like it. It is about tech stuff, but it's just a very funny comedy. Mm-hmm. And it's by Mike Judge, who is the guy who did Idiocracy, King of the Hill, a bunch more stuff. Mike Judge is, Office Space. And Mike Judge created Silicon Valley. So we've been really enjoying Silicon Valley.
We're almost through the 4th season of it, which is fourth of 4, I guess.
I know.
It's gonna be over soon.
We've actually been watching 2 episodes a night some nights.
Really splurging.
I know. I'm going wild with the TV lately.
It's 40 minutes, I think, or maybe even 50.
Maybe even 50 minutes, yeah.
Ugh, so much TV. Okay.
Let's close it down and eat some food.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching, as always. And as always, we are sponsored by Performance High.
Voice and Music Studio.
And we're not going to do any weird stuff.
All right.
And we're gonna see you
I'll
later.
stop it right here.
Let's stop it right
All right.
here.